Hey guys, welcome back to DeFi, Degens, Drip, and Farm for Poverty, where on this channel, our vision is to empower the impoverished by helping you find financial freedom through crypto assets. As always, if you like the mission, resonate with the vision, you know what to do. And drop me a comment and all that good jazz. So today we're going to be talking about why the price of Drip is down again or down from where it was consolidating or whatever you want to call it. Technically, as I mentioned in another video, there was no floor here, but I expected to see some support and we busted right through that. So we're going to take a look at that on the charts here. So this is on the native dex. We were kind of hanging around this area. We busted through it once and then shot back up above it. So I thought there was some resistance there, like a psychological resistance. And then we were consolidating around the 40 for quite some time. Um, so we had never breached below the 40. And last time this happened was way back in like December when we were below that. So now we are below that again at 39 on the native dex. But we take a look here and we'll go into some whys or some hypothesis, because remember, there is no single indicator on why assets go up or down. The charts you're looking at is nothing more than a combination of human emotion played out on a screen. So every single person represents one of these buys and sells, and they all have their own reason as to why they do it, and the chart just reflects that reason, which for the most part, on most people, they trade based on emotion. So very few traders, especially in crypto, are trading based off of what would you call it, calculated trends and technical analysis, because crypto is so new and it doesn't have the actual liquidity that the traditional stock market has, where the big players, Fortune 500 companies, it doesn't swing 80, 90%. Like a big day in the stock market is 10 to 20%. And that is unusual because the amount of volume that's in there, and then the combined emotions for those people that have that experience 20, 30 years, they all kind of play to or march to the beat of the same drum. Crypto is very different, and that's why you can see a shit coin pump to the moon and you're like, what the hell is going on? Because it's a lot of new inexperienced traders and everybody looking to make that quick flip. So anyway, the point I'm getting at is that this $30 range, where is it? Last time we were here, it was, hell, looks like it was way back, yeah, in early December is the last time that we experienced the 30s. So the question is, where is the floor? Well, again, like I just mentioned, crypto and specifically drip doesn't necessarily run off of technical analysis. So all you can do is look at these charts and make informed decisions, hypothesis, really. But at the end of the day, it's going to do whatever the hell it wants to do based off of, again, the emotions and the players that are in the game. And unfortunately, in crypto, people like to buy here. They like to buy here and they follow the sentiment and sell here. You know, even though all of the market analysts and the billionaires will tell you buy in the red, sell in the green, most of crypto, especially because people are new, will be buying in the green and selling in the red because they just follow the masses. It's like lemmings jumping off of a cliff. So um, we don't actually know where the floor is. I mentioned in my previous video, which I'm dead wrong now, that I thought we would consolidate around the 40, and I was hoping for the Monopoly NFT to be able to keep to pump it back up before it dropped below 40. Monopoly NFT is going kind of slow, and they just started their public mint today, but they didn't even sell out all their whitelist mints. So they may not have all of the money that I thought they would be able to put into it. But long story short, we're looking at the 20 to 30 range being the next place where a lot of trades were going on. Does that mean we'll stop there? No, nobody knows. We can hope that the reservoir has something in it that can support the floor, but there's only I think it's like 4,000 players or so in the reservoir. It hasn't shown up here, but you're talking a fraction of the number of players that are in drip. So we don't know how much. Well, actually, we do know how much. We can look at the contract and see how much is in the reservoir. This is the drop contract. So this is the drip and BNB contract, but it doesn't give us much information to tell us what the projected support level would be. We can just see the total number of the BNB balance. So at the all-time high, we were sitting at 14 million in BNB, and at the absolute low, right before the Manor Farm launch, we were sitting at 3 million. Sorry, 3 million. So we're not, you know, bad. We're in the middle of those. We're sitting at 8 right now, and um, yeah, there's not much more you can say off of that, but we can speculate that the liquidity pool or the floor that most people would probably be in would probably be somewhere in here around the 20s, right? So they got in early enough when we look on the contract of where most of the purchases were made. We can tell that they were made the date that they were made. We can tell there before it got to the $30 range or $40 range. So if they bought in before that, then that means they were supporting the floor at that price. So the big spike we had here, transfers, 162 transfers on the contract in February or January this year. So that's when we saw the biggest run up of players added and all this stuff like that as well. But we don't know, again, what the floor will be. So we can just speculate. But there's a couple of things we can do and kind of analyze in regards to why the price is going down. So shout out to Ozzy's DeFi. I got this from his channel. But basically, there's a couple of reasons why, right? So number one reason is people are panic selling. So that's why I pulled this up. So we can look here. I did a filter of more than 100 drip being sold. And we can see it's... this candle, ooh, that's not what I wanted to do. The big sell-off happened that broke the floor around 3 a.m. on the chart here. Let's go back. It was around 3 a.m. where we just busted through the $40 floor. This one, right here. Sorry, nope. Yeah, that's the one. I think that's the one I'm looking at. Can't remember because I was doing this this morning. I think it's here. Yeah, it was around 2:30, and then it just sold off and broke through the $39, their $40 floor, basically there. So when we go and look at what was taking place on Dex Screener, we can see around that time there was let's see, where are we at? 145. So this huge sell here, 404 drip for $16,000, and another one at 4:40 a.m. for 359 drip. Now that by itself wouldn't do anything, but right now I'm filtered. So when people see that, what they do is um, they follow suit basically. So when I add in all these other sells that took place, you see one big one, and people are like, "Oh shit, it's tanking. I'm gonna go ahead and sell as well." So we're looking at like 90% sales, and it can all start from one triggered sell, and we don't know the reason why that person sold, but we do know, like I mentioned, that the market sentiment, or basically these buys and sells, is nothing more than a reflection of emotion. So if you see one person getting out, then you're like, oh shit, I might as well get out as well. And it can cause a cascading effect. That's what liquidations do. The number two reason is there's no attention or hype or excitement in the project. Right now, everything is kind of dead for drip. Yes, we've had the lottery being teased, and there's even been a drip lottery ticket tease, which is all great. But at the end of the day, we don't have any confirmation on the Animal Farm date, and that's a good thing to some degree because Forex went on record saying that he's not going to put dates out until he knows 100% complete. But because there's no dates, then that leaves people to speculate on their own, and we leave people to their own devices. They usually come up with the utmost bearish scenario. And if you get into the Telegram chat, you'll see some of that. So crypto lives and dies by the hype. So if there's no news, then people make up their own news, and then it just snowballs out of control. And usually bad news is what they run off with. So no attention and hype means people will now also start moving their money into other projects. We've seen that already. Other projects have launched, and that's what people do. They take money from one and move to the next one because they're hoping to get that moonshot, right? They want to make that quick flip. Crypto is very short-term minded. People are not looking in the DeFi space, I'll say they're not looking for the long term. You got the Bitcoin maxis that will definitely be telling you that this is a long term store of value and they're just hodling Bitcoin, so they don't even really play in DeFi. But in DeFi, man, in DeFi and NFTs, people are just trying to make that quick flip. So if there's no hype and there's no marketing or no attention or nobody's talking about it, then it's like, all right, what project is getting a lot of hype so that I can get in here? Because that's what they're looking for. It's like, oh shit, everybody's talking about it. It's going up. I'm going to ride it to the moon as well, and then it dumps. So that's what they're looking for, and unfortunately, that is what causes these sell-offs because they don't have that. Another reason is people could be taking profits. I talked about this in another one. They could be doing a strategy where they hydrate for 5, claim for 2, and it doesn't matter if it's for a couple bucks, 52 bucks, 10 bucks, 5 bucks, $4. That's their strategy they're doing. So if that's what they do, then they are part of this. Now remember, when they claim, they're not exactly selling. They could just be claiming. We would have to actually go follow this transaction and see if it was also sold, but it shows here as a sell on the pancake swap side. So these numbers do reflect actual sales, but on the uh, drip side, uh, they could just be claims sitting in the wallet. We don't actually know what they're doing with it. And the next one is they are not supporting the reservoir. So mentioned that in another video. One of Drip's best kept secrets is the reservoir, and not enough people are in the reservoir. So, like I said, there's a fraction of the players in the reservoir compared to those that are in Drip. You got almost 100,000 players in Drip, and I believe at last count this was like 4,400 or 5,000. So you're talking less than 5% are in the reservoir. So that will have a big effect as well because there's nothing locked up. Technically, in the reservoir, your money's not locked up, but it does support the price floor, so that can help drip as well. What else? Uh, Capital. So we have had no additional capital or investments coming in. So when we look at the Mongob charts, the number of players being added is down compared to some of the all-time highs that we had. So with now no new people coming in, that doesn't give any hype to the project. We had that one pump that we believe came from, or I believe came from my friend Andy and the pancake swap. So that brought in a lot of players here with new capital um, that shows on the MongoB charts, but that's been kind of fizzling out. So with no new players coming in, that means no new capital. That means no new hype, no new people talking about it, yada, yada, yada. So it's hard to sell this to new people. I mean, look here, 286, 300. This one, I believe, yeah, that's the same day. So 1,300 players, and I believe most of them were coming from Andy's channel and the pancake swap announcement. Like that was all on the same day. So we can clearly see if there's enough marketing and push and hype and YouTubers talking about it, that you can get these numbers up. You could easily have this to, a couple of days in a row like that if the focus was on the project. So it's not very difficult to do. And lastly, basically it all boils down to not buying enough drip. So it's like, what can you do as an individual? Well, if you got some spare capital sitting around, you can buy the dip, right? And that's exactly what I'm going to do in this video. I think a couple videos ago, I was sitting at only like 22 drip, less than 25 for sure. So now I'm going to purchase some additional. I've been scraping some capital together so that I can try my best to get to 100 drip. The goal was 75, but I've been buying the dip. So right now I'm sitting at, just in the last couple of days, I bought like 30, sitting at 68. So I'm going to buy a little more here for you guys to prove, put my money where my mouth is. So I still believe in the project. Like I said, I can look back on this chart and see the dark days of drip way back here. And if the people that held through here with the diamond hands, they reap the rewards. So I believe that if I do the same, then I'll be in the same boat. I do not want to see a $10, $20 drip, but I believe this is the equivalent right now. 38 to $30. I was hoping it would have stayed at 40, but it didn't. So now is my chance to actually purchase below $30 or $40. So I'm going to buy I want about 5 drip. Yep, that's perfect. 5 drip is what I'm looking at. Change your slippage because you get a little more out of that. So let's do that. So I'm literally doing this for you guys because, like I said, I believe in the project. So this is one of the things you can do. The other is if you're in the Telegram groups, you can, remain positive, spread the hype, the hope that you believe in this for the long term. And I mean, that's what the main thing is. Remember why you got in the first place. If you got in for a quick flip, then it's like I mentioned in the other video, then I'm sorry, you're probably going to get wrecked. But if you got in this hoping that long term your investment would be worth more a year from now or further down the line, then just keep that sentiment regardless of what everybody else is doing. And as Forex has mentioned, you will be rewarded in the long term. So he likes to reward the vigilant and the ones that steady the course. So basically, the way this project works is it transfers the wealth from the fearful and the ones that sell quickly to the long-term stakers and holders. So if you're willing to weather that storm, like I mentioned, if you have the emotional resilience, then this can pay out for you guys. So I just confirmed my transaction. I didn't want to keep this video long. I have a habit of doing like 20-minute videos, so I apologize in advance with you guys. But I wanted to show you that I am indeed doing this, and we'll be adding this to my balance. That's another 5 drip. And if this continues to drop, then I'll just continue with my strategy of adding a little more here and there. I'm still hoping for the Monopoly NFTs, as I mentioned, to poke it back up. They're only sitting at 329 purchased or claimed right now from the, what do you call that thing? Whitelist. So it hasn't gone public yet. I think it goes public today. So hopefully it'll sell out. They got about 6,000 people in their Discord. So and Solana has gone on a nice little pump as well recently. So it's still some money being added, not as much as I thought it would be, but it all helps. Any little bit helps. So you guys already saw I got my 1 NFT. All right, so now I'm going to deposit this. And my goal is, like I said, to get to 100 as soon as possible. 1, to start doing airdrops, and 2, to uh, when I need to cash out or take some profits, I will be able to do so with a smaller amount of drip on a daily basis. So I'm hoping in the near future, drip gets back to over $100, and then I can use like 1/3 of the claims per month to actually support my lifestyle. So that's my goal, to have some passive income from it. So $1,000 a month would be nice. That's 10 claims a month. Then the other 10 I can airdrop, and the other 10 I can hydrate. So that'd be like my 1/3 strategy. If it gets to higher than $100, even better. But jumping back up from the floor price here to there, it's gonna doesn't take much. We saw here it did that. Went from 50 to 160 in 2 weeks. So it definitely can happen. So we can go from 40 to 120 in the same amount of time. Just takes a little attention. So all we got to do is be patient. There we go. And continue to support the platform. Do what you can. Dollar cost average in if you have some drip sitting on the side or some money sitting on the side. Tell people about it, spread the news, let them know, and educate them that this is not the dark days of drip. This is the perfect buying opportunity. Even though the charts look horrible, this is when money is made. So you have to understand about the long-term sustainability of the project, the use cases, everything coming out. Remind yourself of all the projects coming out. Remind yourself how low it was before and the 85% correction that it had, and that we are still sitting above that. So keep hope alive, guys. Until the next one, lift daily and achieve your impossible. See you in the next video. Peace.